Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our time together today. I'm Lori Lamantia, and I'm here with the wonderful abundant Tricia Fiske.
Right. Good morning, everybody.
And today we're continuing, it's our week 2 of the 40-day abundance journey. And Tricia and I were just talking about how the theme for this week seems to have been becoming aware of the ways we are distracted away from that prosperity and abundance that is always flowing from within. And so that's what we're going to talk today about, is how these distractions are, big things, but also little things, and can sometimes be very unconscious because they become such a habit. And I'm going to actually turn it over to Tricia because I think you had a great experience last week as you were taking a class that I think is a good way to frame how we get caught in that and shutting down our abundance with the habit.
Okay. So I am doing online, well, some live stuff too, but a course called The Four Desires with my teacher, Yogarupa Rod Stryker. And it's for people who have already done this before. He has a book and a workbook, and
Has
it's
already
a
done Four
process.
Desires, the process.
Yes, so it's people who have already done Four Desires before, and you're kind of coming back to it. And one of the reasons I have always admired and respected my teacher so much is because he does the work, and he's really committed, and he really, he's inspiring in that way. He's fierce.
And he's
And
disciplined, and he can go and go and go like the Energizer Bunny.
yes, very,
40
very
days,
much
no
so.
biggie. Let's do 90. No, do 120.
100, right. 100, yeah, right. I mean, one of the things I remember him saying is, before we teach something, a particular practice, we should do it for 100 days so we know it.
Right.
We know it in and out. And so that's been very inspirational to me, but at times also very intimidating, because I'm not as disciplined as that, but I am committed, and I have stayed with the same teacher all this time and done the practices. You know what I mean? Anyway, I've done my homework. I've done what I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
Anyway, so the very first meditation or mantra in this practice that we're doing is that Lakshmi is individualized as me. And so I had this moment of realizing she's individualized as me, as imperfect as I am. It's like I don't have to be someone else in order for her to be within me. It's me just as sloppy and messy and whatever as I am. And that was so freeing. That means I can continue to emulate my teacher to the best of my ability and study like him, but I don't have to in order to have Lakshmi be my embodiment. I can do that as a choice, but it's not necessary. Lakshmi's there, imperfect, sloppy, Tricia, whatever. She's already there. And that was huge, because it's like I forgave myself so much of, that self-judgment about, you don't work hard enough, blah, blah, blah. I don't even want to go into it, because it was like I truly let it go.
Wow.
It's perfect. She's there now. I can do as much as I want. I mean, I can push myself to be more like that perfection, but I don't have to. I can be me and do this in my way. That was huge. Huge.
Boy, I heard quite a few things. That's a beautiful story. And I love that you were clear that there's nothing more that we have to do to earn this abundance flow. It
Right.
is already here, and there's nothing we can do to shove it away. Or we could try, but it's not going to go away. And there's nothing more we have to do to get it to say yes to us. It's always saying yes to us, which I think are two fundamental, really important points that we lose, as human beings, because we are so used to accomplishing or trying to earn, things that we think we don't have. So I really
Right.
appreciated that. And I also want to say that, the energy, I always have felt Lakshmi as an energy. And I feel all the goddesses, the love energy, they individualize in different ways to symbolize that which is already within us. And I hope it's not lost on everybody listening that, like you said, and you use the word imperfect and sloppy a few too many times. Claire cancel delete. Um,
Well, just
I know you're trying to make a point, and I appreciate that.
right.
But that imperfect is perfect. It's that unique, individualized expression that is so important, that adds to the great soup called us, that I would miss tremendously, and that uniqueness. And I think we forget that uniqueness is our gift as our abundance to other people also. So there's so much there and that's what I was getting to feel is it's unconscious too, like you said. Sometimes we don't even realize we're holding ourselves to a standard, and we're holding ourselves to the point that until I am that, then I can't be this.
Right.
And
Right.
abundance doesn't roll that way. It just
Right.
doesn't. That's just an idea we have. That's not its
Right.
idea.
Right. And I have another story about that too. So when I first started teaching yoga, I'd been in the corporate world and I was in marketing, but I was coaching other people how to be in the spotlight. I was
Mm.
like the person in the back saying, okay, say this now and say that. And when I first started teaching yoga, I remember thinking, oh, I'm such an introvert. And then when I started meditating, I had this big aha moment like, what if that's just a story you tell yourself? What if that's not who you are at all?
Right.
And that was the beginning of me understanding that my thoughts and habits control and limit me. And the minute I'm willing to first to see it, because you
Right.
can't step past it if you're
Can't
not
change.
willing to look at it. Yeah, you can't change it if you're not willing to look at it. As soon as I was willing to look at it and just take that one step out,
Right.
that's when,
That's a
right,
step toward the divine, and the divine runs at you with open arms, totally. And well, divine's always
like,
running at
what took
us.
you so
Right.
long? Right,
Hello,
right, right,
sweetie.
right.
And that was what kept coming to me. I think that's what's been happening for me all week, is noticing how I've been so distracted or stuck in these old mental patterns that I didn't even realize was one. And I had one stupid one today, and it's kind of embarrassing because I have to admit I read People magazine every day. I finished cover to cover. And then and always three of the stories are always something depressing about some extremely obscure, but makes it seem like it's one of four stories. So it makes me think that it's like 50 to 75% of what's going on out there. And I'm like, Lori, these
Mm,
stories they have to search high and low for. And you think they're 25 to 50% of what's going on out there. That's the weird, and I know that sounds a little strong what I'm saying, but I hope the message is the stuff that's curated on TV or that's thrown at us on social media or thrown at us out the news, it's outlying that they're trying to make seem normal and regular. And it's stuff that really distracts us from that abundance fountain that flows lovingly,
mhm.
unconditionally, and beautifully always through us as us. And that, if I were to pick in a nutshell of what I've seen this past week as I'm doing this, is how easily I get distracted from that flow and that love and that generosity.
Yep. It's right. It's what habits are subtle. We don't stop to think about why am I doing this? Why am I going in that direction? Why am I freaking out? Because it's just like it's a habit. We just
Right.
do that. Breaking the habit means noticing and then saying, "Oh, really?
Right. Why am I freaking
Yeah,
out?
give break."
Why do I feel
Right.
scared? Why is my heart pounding? Why am I not breathing fully? Why am I afraid to open, to go there, do this, talk about that? It just becomes a normal habit, or something we distract from, or, you take a drink from, or whatever way we learn to cope. And all I've been seeing is, no, go back to, like I was reading to day 10 is, I keep my mind and thoughts off this world, and I place my entire focus on the God within as the only cause of my prosperity. I keep my mind and thoughts off this world, and this world has a lot of stuff that it's throwing at us right now in so many million, billion, godzillion ways. And then to make that choice to say, no, I'm just going to go back to that love source within my heart, within the center of my being. And and that's why the meditation is so beautiful and the contemplation, because we're soothing ourselves back. We're returning ourselves back to our essential truth. And I don't think I realized how valuable and well, how valuable, important, and almost repetitively, I need to be pulled back, almost like a puppy. Okay, back on the leash. We're going to walk this way. Back on the leash. We're going to walk this way. It's over and over and over till the neural pathways in our brains go, yeah, I don't go there with fear anymore. I go with love. And I liked what you said earlier when we were talking about the difference between contemplation and meditation. You want to talk a little bit
Right.
about that?
Yeah. Yeah. They're different. In meditation, well, I'm just going to speak from my personal experience and not like I'm an author or a mystic who, but
You are.
when I
You have a lot of authority, and I know you as a mystic. So own it,
well,
girl,
when I
girlfriend.
meditate, all right. Well, when I when I meditate, I join what a beautiful consciousness that is beyond my own
Mhm.
self ego. When I contemplate, it's almost like I get to that place of emptiness, but I invite my mind to participate.
Mhm.
That's my experience of it. So my mind is there, but it's not. What does Tricia think about this? It's what's an interpretation of these words or this mantra that we're saying. The more I try to explain it, the goofier I make it sound. But I will just
Well,
say
yeah,
it is an invitation to have the mind there, contemplating this beautiful, pure thought of the divine. Right.
right.
It's inviting my mind to contemplate the divine
Yeah,
there instead of my ego, me individualized.
right. Trying to
But that's
protect.
different. Yeah, but that's very different from when I'm in a full on meditation and I'm in a different kind of consciousness, right?
And I do think that both are very that's what's interesting about this 40-day process. You're getting access to both. You're quieting the mind after you give your mind something to contemplate. and soothe, soothed by a contemplation of, I take my attention and I put it on the abundance within. I think that's something that can soothe our minds. It can also, make our minds go a little cuckoo, but maybe like, how do I do that? Blah, blah, blah. Shh. And then we quiet. And that's where the meditation, so that, and I've heard it said that, prayer is when we speak to God, and meditation, or that silence, is when God gets to speak to us. And I do think there's so much to that. If I'm always yapping with, I want this, and what about that, blah, 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 when does the divine get to have a word in edgewise, Lori? And the answer is when you finally quiet down. Thank you very much. And I do think for me, both is very helpful. The meditation to quiet and hear, the contemplation to soothe and sit, have my mind go, oh, I can give into that. I can let that go for now and be with
Right,
that for now.
right. Because again, it ultimately does come back to, in order to really free ourselves, we have to find where we're what I was going to say trapped, but where we're still connected and pulling on those old habits and patterns. We need to see that, be willing to let it go. I mean, I do understand. I've read of people who just have amazing Kundalini rising experiences, and they go off, and I've been waiting for that to happen my entire life, and it hasn't. Yeah. So, right. My experience with this is I need to acknowledge, and then I can choose to let go.
Right. And choose. And that's where I think the contemplation is so beautiful. I can choose to come back to the soothing statement, to the mantra, and
Yeah.
it's been really helpful, because I didn't realize how much I was turning off the faucet with turning on the news, or turning on, or just looking at a news feed even, or listening to someone talk about something that makes me uncomfortable. And I can feel, I can feel my back tightening. I can feel my breath or my throat tightening, and I think everybody has different ways they tighten when they're uncomfortable. But that
Right.
tightening is almost like you said, cutting off the flow, the faucet, the abundance faucet. And
Right. Well, you said it before. It takes it from a full flowing faucet to a trickle.
to a
Right.
trickle, right? Even though the flow is always there, let's be clear about that for everyone.
Right.
Getting to the
Yes.
point that we at least can acknowledge that that divine energy is flowing freely and unconditionally. But as it comes through us, through our mind and through our habits and through the distractions, it can be trickled. And this 40-day is about seeing that and then turning the faucet on with as much consciousness as we can muster
Yes.
as a part of this process. I almost felt like, and I want to put this in here because I really felt clear for me, it was about being a conscious energy investor. And I know this sounds a little left-brained, but I want us to start really realizing that we are power investors, and our energy is the thing we invest most every minute of every second of every day. And consciousness with which we invest it, where are we going to go? Are we going to go with the news? Are we going to put our attention, energy, and focus on fear or worry or concern or doubt? Or am I really going to bring it back to investing in that internal, abundance supply that is ever present, unfailing, unlimited, always available? I that's the kind of investing, as we do this and we let that and we relax into that. And that was another word that just kept hitting me, was the relax. You don't have to manage this
Mm.
so much. you know the abundance can just pour forth when we are relaxed and not distracted. So for everyone out there, do you think do you feel one of the quotes that I was going to bring out that I thought was so brilliant was the mind is like tofu. It tastes like whatever you marinate it in. And
Oh,
I
that's
just
funny. I
love
like
that,
that.
right? We're marinating in abundance, right? We're taking our tofu mind and we're marinating it in abundance. And the contemplation is a marination in abundance. And so as people continue, hopefully, to sit down or I've been just walking around and saying the mantra over and over. I take my attention off this world and I put it on the abundance within. However you decide to embody this and teach your mind it, that's all that matters. But
Right.
let
And
it marinate into you.
right. And expect it to be unique to you.
Yes.
Expect that. Right. Because that's the other thing we tend to not accept enough is we all are unique individuals. We're all unique individuals. I mean, it's that first statement. We're all individualized as gods and goddesses. So embrace who you are and how you experience this. Trust
Right.
that.
Right. It's a, I don't know, sometimes I'm just so touched by how we try so hard to stop being who and
Mm,
try and be
right,
something else instead of just be who we really are as we are, and
right,
that's the greatest gift to all the people in our lives. On the upside, on the downside, on the weird side, whatever side, there's no accident. So if we run into some person in the grocery store, it was meant to happen, that we are supposed to just even whisk by them and we get to interchange our energies. It's a beautiful system when we stop trying to manage it so much.
right. There's the Bhagavad Gita is a story about that actually, and there's a very beautiful line, which of course there's no way I'm going to be able to quote it perfectly, but it's about how doing your own dharma is more fulfilling than even perfecting somebody else's and thinking you're doing a
Um,
great job doing your own dharma, even if it's messy.
right. And I
Right.
think
Is
let's just be clear. Dharma is you being
it's
you,
your purpose.
following your
Right.
inspiration.
Yep. It's the gifts you came into this life with, whether you're a great talker or a great thinker or a great singer or a great artist or a great whatever. It's that gift that you came in, the gifts, plural,
Thank you.
that you
Yeah.
came into this life with, which are unique from anybody else.
And divinely, you know, aspected.
Yes. It's not an accident.
No, no, not at all. So I hope everybody's feeling, or I'd love to hear the in the chat or in the comments how you're doing on this 40 days, because it is a journey and I've done this before, but I feel like I'm getting a lot of nuance that I wasn't getting the first time around. And I'm very grateful for that. And I'm glad we get to talk about it
Yes.
together. And I'm glad we're doing this. And I have no idea, like you said, where it's going, but the gifts have already been extremely valuable that I've
Yeah.
received. And I think you
Yes.
too. I think we've both had really interesting gifts that were someone consider good, quote unquote good, and others are like, bummer. I wish I didn't see that, but or I wish I didn't know that, but now I do, and I can clear it up.
Right. And we're just at the beginning of this.
Right. We're in the first
That's
half.
right. This
Absolutely.
is not even the first half.
Yeah.
We're just, yeah.
Right.
So we've got a ways to go. So
And that's a
just,
cool thing.
yes, I agree.
Do you want to say our thank you to
Ah,
Lakshmi, please?
all right. So, yes, I offer my prayers to Lakshmi and I pray to all of the saints, sages, guides, angels, archangels, energies around us who are working for our highest good. And I invite them to help to assist us in embodying that my entire focus of the principle abundance is in action within me.
Swaha. Namaste.
Swaha.
Have a great week, everyone, and let abundance speak to you and enjoy whatever it has to share.
Yes.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.